Imagine for a second that your slightly off-key shower singing could get you fined, or that sharing your Netflix password was a federal crime. Sounds insane, right? Well, welcome to the United States, a country so dedicated to the rule of law that it has, over centuries, created a masterpiece of legislative absurdity. We've scoured the nation to find the 50 most ridiculous, baffling, and downright hilarious things that can legally lighten your wallet. Some of these are just, wow. 1. In Carmel by the Sea, California, it is illegal for women to wear high heels over 2 inches tall without a permit. No, this isn't an attempt to enforce a bizarre fashion code. It's a legal maneuver to protect the city from lawsuits. Carmel's quaint, tree-lined streets have famously uneven pavement, creating a minefield for stilettos. So, to avoid getting sued by people who tripped, the city just outlawed the shoes. You can get a free high heel permit at City Hall, which is a brilliant bureaucratic way of saying, "You've been warned. If you trip now, that's on you." 2. In Gainesville, Georgia, you are legally required to eat fried chicken with your hands. Using a fork and knife is strictly forbidden. This sounds like a joke, but in 2009, a 91-year-old tourist was playfully arrested for violating this ordinance. The law was originally passed in 1961 as a publicity stunt to promote Gainesville as the poultry capital of the world. It worked. Here we are, decades later, still talking about a town that takes its finger-licking chicken etiquette so seriously it's a matter of law. 3. It's technically a federal crime to use a fake name online. The Computer Fraud and Abuse Act of 1986 has a clause against unauthorized access to a computer, which can be interpreted as violating a website's terms of service. Since most sites require accurate information, your clever pseudonym could be seen as a breach. Is the FBI going to kick down your door because your Twitter handle is PizzaFanatic69? Probably not. But does the law technically give them an excuse? You bet. So, all you Eagle Eye Patriot 1776 commenters, just know you're technically rebels with a cause. 4. In Minnesota, it's illegal to stand around any building without a good reason. The law targets loitering, but its vague wording invites endless interpretations. What's a good reason? Admiring a window display? Waiting for your Uber? Practicing your Oscar speech? It all depends on the cop. It turns public sidewalks into a stage where your best defense is improvising a convincing alibi, like, "I'm contemplating the economic symbolism of this hardware store." 5. In Oklahoma, you can be fined for eavesdropping. The law specifically states that it's illegal to secretly loiter about any building with intent to overhear discourse therein, and to repeat or publish the same to vex, annoy, or injure others. Basically, it's a law against being a professional gossip. It's not just listening, it's the intent to listen and then spread the dirt that gets you in trouble. It's the legal system's way of saying, "Mind your own business, Brenda." 6. In Tennessee, it is illegal to share your streaming passwords, even with family. Originally aimed at hackers selling bulk credentials, the law's broad scope technically makes you a criminal for letting your mom binge Stranger Things on your Netflix. So if your cousin in Chattanooga is watching Game of Thrones on your HBO account, congratulations, you're part of a digital crime ring. It's like cyberpunk, but with more snacks and fewer explosions. 7. In Aspen, Colorado, it is illegal to throw a snowball at a person or a building. This beloved winter pastime is classified as a form of missile throwing, putting it in the same category as launching a rock or a brick. Imagine the scene: a group of kids having a friendly snowball fight, only to be interrupted by a stern officer writing them a ticket for deploying unauthorized frozen projectiles. It kind of takes the fun out of a snow day, doesn't it? 8. In Arizona, it is illegal to let a donkey sleep in your bathtub. This law dates back to a 1920s case where a rancher's donkey had grown accustomed to sleeping in an old tub on his property. One day, a local dam broke, and the resulting flood washed the tub, with the donkey still in it, several miles down the valley. The townspeople spent a great deal of effort rescuing the sleeping animal, and to prevent such a ridiculous situation from ever happening again, they simply outlawed it. You can't make this stuff up. 9. In Blythe, California, you are not allowed to wear cowboy boots unless you own at least 2 cows. This is a fantastic piece of legislation against cultural appropriation, rancher style. The city council apparently wanted to ensure that only true, bona fide cattle owners could rock the iconic footwear. Are they checking deeds at the city limits? Is there a cow ownership database? Probably not, but it's a hilarious attempt to keep the cowboy aesthetic authentic in a world full of urban wannabes. 10. In Alabama, it is illegal to drive while blindfolded. I feel like this is one of those laws that really shouldn't have to be a law. It should just fall under the general umbrella of things you don't do if you wish to remain alive. The fact that a group of lawmakers had to sit down, draft, and pass a bill specifically prohibiting this act implies that, at some point, it was enough of a problem to warrant legislation. That thought is far more terrifying than the law itself. 11. In Washington, it's illegal to harass Bigfoot. If you happen to encounter a Sasquatch while hiking in the Pacific Northwest, you are legally prohibited from bothering it. The official ordinance from Skamania County designates the Bigfoot as an endangered species and makes its harassment a gross misdemeanor, punishable by a fine and even jail time. So, if you see the big guy, be cool. No unsolicited photos, no asking for autographs, and definitely no trying to get a DNA sample. Just give him a respectful nod and be on your way. 12. In North Carolina, it's illegal to sing off-key. Yes, that hypothetical scenario from the intro is painfully real in one state. An old city ordinance in an unspecified town states that it's against the law to utterly weird and unnatural noises, or sing in a loud and boisterous manner, on public streets. While it's aimed at preventing public disturbances, the phrasing off-key is wonderfully specific. It implies a world where tone-deaf carolers could be facing a fine. So next time you're in the Tar Heel state, maybe hum it first. 13. In Hawaii, you can be fined for not owning a boat. This feels like the most passive-aggressive law imaginable. It doesn't apply to everyone, of course, but for residents of certain new coastal subdivisions, owning a boat is a mandatory requirement written into their property deeds and local regulations. The logic is that in the event of a tsunami or major flood, the boats would be essential for evacuation. It's a grimly practical rule disguised as a mandate to have more fun in the sun. 14. In New Hampshire, if you live with someone as a couple for 3 years and tell people you're married, you legally are. The state recognizes common law marriage in a very specific way, only after one of you dies. If you've presented yourselves as a married couple, the surviving partner can claim inheritance rights as a legal spouse. It's the state's way of saying, if you acted like you were married, we'll just go ahead and make it official for the paperwork. It's a posthumous marriage certificate you never asked for. 15. It is illegal to hunt camels in Arizona. The first question everyone asks is, wait, there are camels in Arizona? And the answer is yes, sort of. In the 1850s, the U.S. Army imported camels for its Camel Corps to transport goods across the desert. When the Civil War started, the project was abandoned and the camels were just released. For a while, feral camels roamed the Southwest, and this law was passed to protect them. The camels are long gone now, but the law protecting them remains. 16. In Darby, Kansas, it is a finable offense to screech your tires. The law specifically cites unnecessary squealing or screeching of tires as a misdemeanor. This isn't just about doing donuts in a parking lot. Even an accidental peel-out from a stoplight could technically get you a ticket. It's a direct assault on every teenager's dream of making a dramatic exit. In Darby, all getaways must be performed in a quiet, orderly, and respectable manner. 17. For decades, it was illegal to be ugly in public in Chicago. This is not a joke. From the late 1800s until it was repealed in 1974, Chicago had what were known as the Ugly Laws. These ordinances made it illegal for any person who was diseased, maimed, mutilated, or in any way deformed so as to be an unsightly or disgusting object to appear in public. It was a dark and forgotten chapter of American law, designed to keep people with disabilities and visible ailments hidden away. It's a chilling reminder of how far society has come. 18. In Wisconsin, it's illegal for a restaurant to serve you margarine instead of butter unless you specifically ask for it. This is America's dairyland defending its honor. The law is a fierce act of state pride, ensuring that the integrity of Wisconsin's butter is never compromised by a sneaky, oily imposter. If a restaurant dares to make the switch without your consent, they could face fines. It's a level of commitment to dairy that you simply have to respect. 19. In Maine, keeping your Christmas lights up past January 14th can get you fined. This isn't just a HOA complaint, it's the law. In South Berwick, those twinkling reindeer and inflatable Santas have a legal expiration date. Forget to take them down, and you're officially a festive outlaw. It's one of the few laws that forces you to choose between laziness and civic responsibility, and possibly a neighbor-led intervention. 20. In Texas, it is illegal to milk another person's cow. This law feels like it was written by a cowboy who was extremely fed up. It goes beyond simple theft of property. This isn't just about stealing milk. It's about the audacity of walking onto someone's land and getting intimately familiar with their livestock. The fine could be as low as $10, which seems like a pretty small price for such a brazen violation of bovine personal space. 21. It is technically a federal crime to write on a dollar bill. That little smiley face you drew on Abraham Lincoln? Technically a federal offense. The law forbids anyone who mutilates, cuts, defaces, disfigures, or perforates currency. While the Treasury Department has stated they don't really care unless there's fraudulent intent, the law itself is incredibly broad. So every time you see a "Where's George" stamp, you're witnessing a casual act of federal law-breaking. 22. In Baltimore, Maryland, it is illegal to take a lion to the movie theater. There are laws born from caution, and then there are laws born from what must have been a very specific, very wild Tuesday. This ordinance raises so many questions. Did someone actually try this? Was the lion a paying customer? Did it share the popcorn? The world may never know the exact incident that prompted this rule, but we can be grateful it exists. 23. In Massachusetts, it's illegal for fans to swear at players during a sports game. This law, if enforced, would leave Fenway Park completely silent. It specifically prohibits cursing at or taunting any player, coach, or official involved in an athletic contest. Imagine a Red Sox-Yankees game where the entire crowd is forced to express its frustration with polite G-rated language. The very concept feels deeply, fundamentally un-American. 24. In Alaska, it's illegal to wake a sleeping bear for the purpose of taking a photograph. This law is a beautiful intersection of common sense and modern stupidity. It's not just "don't poke the bear," it's "don't poke the bear for the gram." It specifically targets the tourist impulse to get that perfect wildlife shot, even if it means risking dismemberment. The state of Alaska had to legislate against waking up a 1,000-pound killing machine because, apparently, people needed to be told. 25. In New Jersey, it is illegal to pump your own gas. For the entire rest of the country, this is baffling. New Jersey is one of only 2 states where attendants are legally required to pump your gas for you. The law was enacted in 1949 under the guise of safety, but has remained due to public support. It's a strange, legally enforced full-service luxury that turns a simple task into a mandatory transaction, making every driver in the Garden State a spectator to their own refueling. 26. In Marion, Oregon, you cannot walk backwards while eating a donut. This is it. This is the peak of legislative absurdity. There's no known backstory, no tragic incident involving a reverse ambling pastry enthusiast. It's just a pure, uncut, inexplicable rule. Is it to prevent you from bumping into people? Is there a war on multitasking? Or did a city council member just have a really weird dream? Whatever the reason, it's a perfect example of a law that serves no purpose other than to make you ask, why? 27. In San Francisco, It's illegal to clean your car with used underwear. This law is so beautifully specific, it's a work of art. You can wash your car with a brand new pair of briefs, no problem. But the moment they've been worn, they are legally classified as a non-approved vehicle cleaning apparatus. It was likely passed as a public health measure for car washes, but the wording creates a mental image that is impossible to forget. It's a solution in search of a very, very strange problem. 28. In Idaho, it is illegal to give your sweetheart a box of chocolates weighing less than 50 pounds. This is not a law, it's a challenge. This ordinance was reportedly passed as a joke during a legislative frivolity session in the early 20th century to promote the state's sugar beet industry. While it was never meant to be enforced, it remains a testament to a time when lawmakers had a sense of humor and a deep commitment to grand romantic gestures. A standard box of chocolates isn't just a gift, it's a misdemeanor. 29. In Florida, it's illegal to park your elephant at a parking meter without paying. Yes, you read that correctly. If you happen to be traveling with an elephant in Sarasota, you are legally required to feed the meter, just as you would for a car. This law stems from the city's history as the winter headquarters for the Ringling Bros and Barnum and Bailey Circus. The circus would parade their elephants through town, and this ordinance was a practical, if utterly surreal, way to regulate it. 30. In West Virginia, it's illegal to hunt with a ferret. The law explicitly bans using ferrets to pursue, catch, or kill wildlife. Ferreting, once a noble rabbit-flushing art, is now treated like cheating. West Virginia decided that while dogs and guns are fine, sending a weasel into a burrow is crossing a line. It's a small but firm stand against mustelid-assisted hunting, and perhaps against letting critters do all the hard work. 31. In South Carolina, it is illegal to hold a dance party at a public pier on a Sunday. The state's old blue laws, designed to enforce religious standards, are still on the books. While many have been repealed, the ban on Sunday pier dancing remains. You can stand on the pier. You can fish from the pier. You can contemplate the ocean from the pier. But the moment you start grooving to music, you're breaking the law. It's a legally mandated buffer between you and your weekend fun. 32. In Rhode Island, it's illegal to throw pickle juice at a trolley. This is another hyper-specific law that begs for a backstory. Was there a serial pickle juice assailant terrorizing the public transit system of Providence? Was it a protest movement? Or just one really angry deli owner with a grudge against a trolley conductor? Whatever happened, it was significant enough to warrant its own special place in the state's legal code. 33. In Arkansas, a man is legally allowed to beat his wife, but only once a month. This is a horrifying and deeply disturbing law that, while almost certainly unenforceable today due to modern domestic violence legislation, is allegedly still on the books. It's a stark and sickening relic from a bygone era, reflecting a time when such violence was not only tolerated but regulated with a grotesque monthly limit. It's less of a ridiculous law and more of a chilling historical artifact we should be glad to have left behind. 34. In Utah, it's illegal to cause a catastrophe. The law is wonderfully vague. It defines a catastrophe as causing widespread injury or damage through the use of a weapon of mass destruction, explosion, fire, flood, or other harmful or destructive force or substance. That other is doing a lot of heavy lifting. Did you clog all the toilets at a public event? Maybe you caused a catastrophe. It's a law that sounds like it was written by someone who just wanted to cover all their bases, no matter how apocalyptic. 35. In Georgia, you cannot live on a boat for more than 30 days during a calendar year. This law is aimed at preventing people from turning the state's waterways into floating trailer parks. For the free-spirited sailor dreaming of a life on the water, Georgia says, not so fast. After your 30-day trial of pirate life is up, you have to return to solid ground. It's the state's way of ensuring that living the dream doesn't involve permanently dropping anchor in their marina. 36. In New York, it's illegal for two or more people to wear masks in public. The law, written in 1845 to stop masked tenant uprisings, now awkwardly resurfaces every time someone wears a bandana at a protest or hosts a superhero flash mob. It's an old-school anti-insurrection law colliding with modern cosplay. Somewhere, Batman is already drafting his appeal to the state legislature. 37. In South Dakota, it is illegal to fall asleep in a cheese factory. This is not just a workplace safety rule, it's a state law. The logic is sound, you don't want anyone falling into a vat of cheddar, but the specificity is what makes it great. It paints a picture of a state so dedicated to its cheese production that it has legally outlawed narcolepsy in the presence of curds and whey. It's a testament to the idea that in South Dakota, cheese never sleeps, and neither should you. 38. In Nevada, it is still technically illegal to use an X-ray machine to determine someone's shoe size. Back in the mid-20th century, shoe stores used X-ray fluoroscopes as a futuristic gimmick to show customers how their feet fit inside shoes. This was, of course, a terrible idea that blasted people's feet with unregulated radiation. The machines were banned nationwide, but Nevada felt the need to pass its own specific law against it, just in case any retro-minded shoe salesman got a bright radioactive idea. 39. In Kentucky, it is illegal to dye a duckling blue and sell it unless you're selling more than 6 at once. This is one of the strangest loopholes in American law. Selling one blue duckling, you're a criminal. Selling a half-dozen blue ducklings? You're a legitimate businessman. The law was intended to stop the sale of colored chicks and ducks as Easter novelties, which often died quickly. The logic of the more than 6 exception, however, remains a complete and utter mystery. 40. In Texas, it is illegal to sell your own eye. This is not a general prohibition against organ trafficking. It's a law from the state's penal code that specifically singles out one of your eyeballs as being off-limits for commerce. You can legally sell your blood plasma, your bone marrow, and your hair. But the moment you try to put your own cornea on the open market, you've crossed a legal line. It creates a bizarre legal landscape where your body is a boutique of sellable parts with one very specific, very glassy item mysteriously not for sale. 41. In Illinois, it's illegal to give a lit cigar to your dog or cat. This law is a masterpiece of specificity. A regular, unlit cigar? Fine. A cigarette? Not mentioned. But a lit cigar given to a household pet is where the state of Illinois draws the line. You have to wonder what dapper, cigar-smoking tabby cat inspired this legislation. It's a law protecting pets from the bad habits of what must have been some very interesting owners. 42. In Oregon, it is illegal to create or spread false news. This law was written long before the internet, but it has aged beautifully. It specifically prohibits communicating any false statement of fact with the intent to alarm people. While it was likely aimed at preventing pranksters from shouting fire in a crowded theater, in today's world, this law effectively criminalizes a significant portion of social media. It stands as a quaint, optimistic legal relic from a time when truth was something the law felt it could actually protect. 43. In Michigan, it's illegal to willfully and maliciously destroy a public utilities property, which has been interpreted to include stealing Wi-Fi. If you're sitting in your car outside a coffee shop borrowing their internet to download a movie, you are technically a digital bandit. The law treats tapping into an unsecured Wi-Fi network as a form of property destruction or theft of service. So that free internet you're enjoying isn't really free. It's just a misdemeanor you haven't been caught for yet. 44. In Eureka, California, falling asleep on a public street is against the law. The ordinance prohibits using the street as a bed, meaning even a nap on a bench could get you ticketed. Picture it. You're resting after a hike. The breeze is perfect, the seagulls are singing, and suddenly you're breaking the law by momentarily drifting off. In Eureka, dreams are not public property. 45. In Louisiana, it is illegal to send a pizza to someone's house without their knowledge. This law is a direct response to a golden age of pranksterism. You can't surprise order a pile of pizzas for an unsuspecting friend, foe, or teacher. This practice, known as pizza bombing, became enough of a nuisance that the state had to legislate against it. It's a sad day for pranksters, but a great day for anyone who doesn't want to deal with a confused delivery driver and a dozen unwanted anchovy pizzas. 46. In Massachusetts, it's illegal to snore if it disturbs someone, unless all of your bedroom windows and doors are securely closed. This is a law that delves into the most intimate aspects of cohabitation. It doesn't just regulate snoring, it regulates the architectural containment of your snoring. If you're a loud sleeper, you have a legal obligation to seal your room, lest your nocturnal rumblings become a matter of public disturbance. It is, quite possibly, the world's first piece of legislation that requires acoustic engineering for your sleep apnea. 47. In Maryland, fortune tellers are allowed to practice their trade, but it is illegal for them to predict the future. This is a beautiful legal paradox. Under state law, individuals can obtain a license for fortune telling, which allows them to warn and advise clients. However, charging money to actually predict events, like telling someone they'll win the lottery or meet a tall, dark stranger, is a finable offense. They can legally analyze your past and comment on your present, but the future must remain a tantalizing, unprophesied mystery. 48. In several towns across Florida and Louisiana, saggy pants are outlawed. These laws target trousers worn below the waistline, exposing underwear, turning fashion into a criminal offense. Proponents say it's about decency. Critics say it's profiling. Either way, if your waistband's hanging too low, you're risking a fine. In these towns, even your pants have to follow the rules. 49. In Glendale, California, it is illegal to jump out of a car that is moving at 65 miles per hour. This is the absolute pinnacle of laws that should not need to exist. It's not just a general law against being reckless. It's a highly specific prohibition against an act that is already its own punishment. The fact that a city council felt compelled to formally outlaw this suggests that either someone tried it or they were deeply concerned that someone might. It's a law that says, we know this is a bad idea, but we're putting it in writing just to be safe. All right, we've dissected 49 pieces of legislative madness, and only the grand finale remains. But before we get to number 50, it's time for the final verdict. For us, the award for the most brilliantly ridiculous law on today's list goes to Carmel, California, for requiring a permit to wear high heels. Why? Because it isn't just a ban, it's a masterclass in bureaucratic jujitsu. Instead of fixing their famously bumpy sidewalks, the city decided it was infinitely easier to reclassify a fashion choice as a licensed activity, thus absolving themselves of any liability. It's a law that doesn't solve the problem, but brilliantly solves the blame. And that, in its own way, is a form of genius. Do you agree? Or did another law deserve the crown? Let us know your verdict in the comments. And now, for our final number. 50. In Iowa, it is illegal for a man with a mustache to kiss a woman in public. For that matter, any public kiss is legally limited to a maximum of 5 minutes. This is a relic of old-timey morality laws, a double whammy of romantic regulation. First, it discriminates against the mustachioed gentleman, a bizarre act of pogonophobic legislation. Second, it puts a hard time limit on public displays of affection. It conjures the incredible image of a police officer, stopwatch in hand, timing a couple's embrace and yelling, "All right, you two, break it up. You're over your legal smooching limit." So there you have it. 50 glimpses into the beautiful, chaotic, and often nonsensical legal tapestry of the United States. From cowboy boots to sleeping bears, it's a system that proves that for every logical problem, there's an illogical law waiting to be written. If you could enact one completely absurd law in your hometown, what would it be? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey through legal chaos, show us some love by hitting that subscribe button. You won't want to miss what we uncover next.